So I believe that every man here was born of a woman and therefore has a feminine side and believes in the power of a woman, that without women, we fail as a people. We'll go into an extinction. There won't be procreation. Development will suffer as we see in it, and will not go anywhere. Like an airplane, you need both wings to fly successfully. Just imagine sitting in an airplane and they tell you that one wing has suddenly stopped functioning. I'm sure you even die before, they do anything about it. I see this topic from two different angles. Women empowerment and affirmative action. From one aspect, you can say that we are talking about the role women empowerment can play in achieving affirmative action. On the other hand, it could be the impact of affirmative action on women empowerment. Let me quickly take the first one. And don't worry, I'm not going to go into what affirmative action is all about and whether it's been passed or not. You all have phones, you all have iPads. You can Google and find out about that. But what I want us to look at is how we can use empowerment to achieve affirmative action. Affirmative action is, by and large, of all the English and everything, it's balancing the equation. Making sure that women take their rightful places. Making sure that the imbalances in our political arena, in our private sector, in our public sector, in positions of authority, everywhere, we are able to balance the equation. Because there's no argument there. Now, the whole thing is skewed against women. Look at parliament. Look at governance. When you go to boards, it's a shame that Ghana, we talk about, but the Chief Justice is a woman. We've had a female Speaker of Parliament before. Tokenism has become our pride, and it's a shame. We need to go beyond that. Rwanda, a country that just came out of the worst form of conflict, the most violent in Africa, now has a balance. In fact, at the moment, I may be wrong, but here we have even more women in parliament than men, like we have here. The opposite anyway. The men are more than the women at a feminine program. I'm excited about that. I'm happy that we have more men here. But it's very important that we balance this equation, because no matter what, I'm a feminist through and through. The first feminist I knew was my father. And after that, two men, I would say, initiated me into feminism when I became a journalist and took on this whole challenge of gender equality and empowerment. That's Dr. Yal Graham of Third World Network and Professor Ken Atefa. I used to say that I'm a gender activist and advocate, but I'm not a feminist, because my mind had been skewed or had been indoctrinated to mean that if you're a feminist, that means you hate men. Feminists think men are nothing and do not respect men. And God knows I love my dad to bits, so I cannot disrespect all men. So I didn't want to be. Then they opened my eyes, and it was a simple exercise. Take the dictionary, check the meaning of feminism. And it tells you, feminism is all about changing or advocating for the rights of women. That's the legal, social, and political rights of women to equal that of men. It's as simple as that. Women have come to own the term feminism, but it's not exclusively feminine or women thing. A man can be a feminist. A man can be a feminist. And we have them all around us in this country. As women, we need to believe in the fact that we have something to offer. We have a role to play to develop this country, to change our destiny and that of the generations yet unborn. First of all, we need to believe it, and we need to understand it. And as a people, we need to understand it, that God created women for a purpose, not to come and add to the numbers, but to play a role. But taking the first aspect of it, the role women empowerment can play in achieving affirmative action. Now the onus is on us as women to take up the challenge. We want to make the numbers. We want to make sure that we have enough women in parliament so that issues concerning women, youth, children, and indeed Ghanaians, when they come, the feminine side is also listened to and considered. We need the right people there. At the moment, if we are to say that, or to be blessed to have the women in parliament all coming together, which I haven't seen happening, even if the minority and the majority women caucus are to come together and have a block vote, it will be nothing compared to the men, because they barely form 1/10 of the caucus. 275, and the women are about 30 thereabout. Nothing. I'm sure you and I have heard presidents make that comment that we can't find the right women. It used to annoy me a lot. But as usual, I sat down to analyze it. They may be right, you know. They may be right. Where are the women? Where are the Hawa Yakubus of our time who would damn the consequences and say that I don't care what anybody says about me, what name they call me, I'm going to put myself out there to serve. That I'm prepared intellectually, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to go in there and play my role. How many women are ready? You know, it's a shame that this is happening at a time when we all know what has been thrown at the EC chair. And people are saying, that's why women don't want to go into, you know, politics and all that. And I laugh. Because as a young journalist, I remember the number of women who have been called by their names and told and said such about them. From Hawa Yakubu to Gladys Asma to who Nana Kunedu Ajman Rollins inside her chair. Many women have been told such. But guess what? As usual, typical Ghanaian peace-loving hypocrites. We kept quiet over it, and this is where we are today. This is where it's gotten us. Because women were afraid to stand up and speak up their mind. And not afraid to be also called prostitutes and, you know, told that they slept their way to the top. So they were quiet. We need women who are willing, who are ready. As a woman sitting here today, what is your ambition? How prepared are you? What are you doing about it? How are you preparing yourself so that when the opportunity comes, you'll be ready? We need to empower the women we have to be able to achieve the affirmative action we are calling for. Hello, darling. I can see this one is ready. She doesn't mind, you know. All of you can do it. She's going to daddy. Who are you? You're going to who? Uncle. Well, uncle is a daddy. We're Africans. So as Ghanaians, your uncle is your dad. We need to be prepared. We need to put ourselves up when the time comes. Otherwise, we are joking. We will scream, we will do whatever. But one government will come and say that I'm ready, I don't care. Whoever, I will just want the women to come. I want 50-50, I want to give appointment. And we may not get the women because we are not ready. We'll go to face the appointment committee and we'll embarrass ourselves because we are not ready. As we wait for the bill or whatever to be passed, we need to prepare ourselves. And you, the young ladies, need to prepare yourself. You need to work on yourself. In all fronts, intellectually most importantly. So that when it comes and you go with a man and you know that you did so well, you were intellectually prepared, you scored on all fronts and they still didn't give it to you, then you know that this is clear chauvinism. This is clear marginalization. This is clear discrimination against your gender. But if all you've got is your beauty and your dressing and you go and sit there and you don't get it, and you come and tell me, Auntie Gifty, can you believe they didn't give it to me? What do you expect me to do about it? Nobody is indispensable, that's right. But you can work yourself that you will never be forgotten. Too many of us are joining the bandwagon wrongly. We think it's time, everybody's talking about women empowerment, this, so yes, I should be included. No, it doesn't come that easy. You need to prepare, you need to add value to yourself. As the men are ready to take it up, so should you. When I was sitting in the car waiting, I was just reading this morning, I got so upset about how people are going, so I wrote something on my wall saying that I hope and pray that those condemning it are not condemning it because she is the EC boss, but they are condemning it because she's a woman and they know she's a woman who is intelligent, who is capable, who is hardworking, highly qualified for her job. And so whatever she decides to do with her vagina is nobody's business. And people were arguing back and forth on my wall, two friends, going back, and I know them, they're friends, going back, and who says, one person said that when it was done to Eslo, so nobody condemned it. And then another one came to say, who says nobody condemned it, back and forth. And then the next thing I saw is, okay, Charlie, Friday is a holiday, what are we doing? And then the other one came back to say, you see why I love you? We behave like men. And that, no matter how we argue, we are back laughing. And sister will jump in there. Why do you say you behave like men? Why do you think women cannot argue with each other and still be friends and laugh with each other? And that is the prerogative of men. To be able to achieve affirmative action, we need to put ourselves in a position where we can go and take it, where we can go and grab it, because we know we deserve it, because we know we have the qualification, because we know that we are emotionally intelligent to handle it. I am not worried about Charlotte Osei one bit, because I know her and I know by now she's just laughing. She will not let this affect her in any way, and it will not rub off her in any way, because she's used to it, she's prepared for it, she knew it will happen, because that's the world we're living. But if you're a woman, you get into a position like that, and of course nobody deserves to be told such or to be described in such a way. And somebody out there does it and you're up in arms, jumping from one with it, arguing, and you make a mess of yourself. You need to be intelligent, emotionally intelligent. So you need to, first of all, I've talked about, you need to prepare yourself intellectually. Develop yourself to a level where you know that you're ready to take up that challenge. You need to be emotionally intelligent. And for those of you coming up, you know, during the primaries, one lady came to me and wanted me to help her, mentor her, groom her, because she wanted to contest. We had everything. I just helped. I was excited about her, young graduate, anything. Just 2 weeks to the primary, she comes and tells me that her husband says the insults is too much, and so she doesn't want to go again. That's the harsh reality of a woman's life. So right now, as you're sitting here, not ready, not married, waiting to get married, which is important, waiting to have children, make sure your choice will be a man who believes in you enough to know that when you're saying that Ajua Mansa is a prostitute and slept her way to her position, that man knows Ajua Mansa so well, knows you and can stand anywhere by you and tell you that you're a fool for saying that about my wife, because I know my wife. I know she will not do that. I know she's hardworking. I know she's intelligent. I know she deserves to be there. The choices we make in terms of relationship can affect our achieving affirmative action. Because being in public space is not easy. Being in position of authority is not easy. Challenges are part of life. They will come. And in a society like ours called Ghana, you have so many things mitigating against you as a woman. So you need to be careful in the choices that you make. You need to make sacrifices. That is why at a point they said feminists are not married. A lot of feminists and these gender advocates, they can't get men to marry them. I heard it several times. I was told that several times. Some of my young student leaders were even told, if you want to be like Gifty Auntie, you won't get any man to marry you. It was so bad I had to do a program on can an empowered woman marry, and showcase a number of empowered women who were championing the cause of empowerment, who were married, like Angela Dramnabwaje, like Nanoye Lester, like Dr. Rose Mensah-Kuti, who is married to another powerhouse, Professor Kwame Kakari, to Jijo Chikata, who is married to one of my greatest mentors, that's Dr. Yal Graham, who initiated me into feminism. Everything is achievable as the process. We need to decide how we are going to achieve affirmative action. I believe that if we wait for it to be handed onto us, we'll wait forever. It will not come. Or it may come and we will fail because we will not be ready to take up the challenge. So affirmative action is achievable, but we need to empower ourselves to be able to achieve it. Thank you very much.